All right, all right, all right. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your engines!
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Remember when I told all my drivers, reach up there, pull those belts tight one more time? Drivers, start your engines!
And gentlemen, start your engine!
And welcome back to another episode of the Green White Checkered podcast. I'm Andrew, and I'm joined just by Zach this week. I think Joe and Austin went on their honeymoons together, and
with each other.
Yeah, with each other. They left the wives at home. It's just them two. They're having a good old time. But so it's just us this week. We're going to do a little bit of a Gateway recap. We're going to hit Sonoma. We got some news to talk about. But before we get into that, make sure to like, follow, subscribe wherever you're listening to us. YouTube, Twitch, Spotify. We're everywhere. So do that. It'll help us out. Spotify, if you can give us a rating, comment on YouTube, everything helps. So yeah, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Gateway. We had Austin Cindric take home the win. I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No.
If you bet that, you had to be a fan or just throwing money away. But it's good for him. He wasn't the fastest car.
No, definitely not.
That team surprised me just being up there, right? I mean, it's Penske, but Penske's been awful. So,
I mean, they've been showing a little bit of speed here lately, and I think Gateway is one of their better tracks as an organization. I mean, Joey runs well here. Joey won here the first time we were here and finished second last year, finished fifth this year. I don't know how Blaney and Cindric ran, but I just feel like this is an okay, at least for Joey, an okay track. So, if he's sharing information and stuff like that, they're bound to get better. And you saw all the Penske cars strong today. Blaney up there leading until he ran out of gas. And Cindric wasn't way in the back. It's not like
he led laps.
He was in position all day. He was up front. I'm just obviously annoyed because freaking Bell's motor just blows up or whatever the heck happened to it. It lasted, thank goodness. So I mean, he still got a top 10, which is okay. 2 stage wins and a top 10. I guess it's an alright tag, but it was tough. And then Blaney runs out of gas. The other guy who you could argue deserved the win. And then he runs out of gas in the
Blaney
last
and Bell, I think, were the two top cars. I think Bell had the better car. I don't know what happened, if he over revved the motor or what. And I mean, if he didn't do that, he would have had an easy win because Blaney runs out of gas on the last lap.
I think he would have gotten Blaney even without the gas.
He was 100% faster.
And it sucks because those two, we were actually finally about to get a really good, race for the lead, and it was shaping up to be really awesome. And all of a sudden, the Toyota engine took a shit.
Yep. Yeah.
So, whatever.
Penske cars have been pretty good at this track. They honestly, I mean, I put Phoenix kind of in the same boat as Gateway and maybe New Hampshire. For some reason, it just seems like the flat ovals they perform really well on. Obviously, Phoenix, they're bringing home championships at. So, I don't know. It's for some reason they run well. I don't get it, but
you know who else is really good on flat ovals? Seabell. Keep him in mind. Come New Hampshire time. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
he's really good at these types of tracks too.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder about Seabell, man. If he's everyone's sitting there being like, it's Hamlin's season to win this. Bell, man, he's been in the Final Four last 2 years.
I've been saying, dude, if you can get his pit crew to not fuck up, we're golden. And that's what's been plaguing him is he'll be running okay, and you'll have a bad pit stop, he'll get put back in traffic, and then shit happens. He just gets taken out of it. But Bell, and I think Adam knows how to set up a car and give him a fast car. And Bell is very good. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the series, at least underrated in the top, the top tier of guys. You could probably say someone in lesser equipment's underrated as well. But out of those top major teams, I think Bell's probably your most underrated. And he's quiet. He doesn't whenever he has speed, it's easy to forget, I guess, and I mean, maybe I just pay attention so much because I'm a fan of his, so I'm always watching the ticker, seeing where he's at, seeing what's going on. But it just seems like it's always the pit crews or something like that that just screws it and throws a race away. But these last 2 races, Charlotte and Gateway, pit crew was phenomenal, both races, and look at where we were. So, I think you're right. If this trend continues and the pit crew keeps knocking out great stops, I think who knows? Maybe we'll
Yeah.
see him in the
So
Final Four.
for our new listeners, and maybe Zach doesn't even remember this, I was not a big C Bell fan. I didn't think he was good. And then Zach kind of said, hey, you need to pay attention to this. And then I think it was an OnlyFans question about overrated and underrated driver. And I actually had him as an underrated driver. I think he's talented. He's just quiet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he struggles sometimes. And it might have just been, rookie type, mistakes here and there where you struggle. But when he's got speed and he shows it. And we're seeing that, especially, last couple of weeks.
It's easy to forget too. This is only his 4th year in Cup.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been in Cup very long. Like I mean, you look at like a Byron or a Bowman or even an Elliott. Like how many years it took them, to get in and start getting to their winning ways. And Bell's. I know I'm sort of homering for him right now, being a fangirl right now, but I mean, he's won every year he's been at JGR, which he was at JGR his 2nd year in Cup, which is pretty impressive. So. I do think he's very good, obviously. I just think, there's other stuff that happens, whether it be a parts failure in this case or a bad pit stop, or sometimes he does screw up. I'm not saying he's perfect. He's
Championship
legit.
race.
Yeah,
Part
we had
failure.
freaking brake rotors. And he was coming up too. I think him and Blaney were on. Well,
It
yeah,
would have been such a good race.
We were just talking about how Penske and Blaney's good at flat tracks. Well, there you go. I think Bell's right on pace with him, and I think you're right. I think we would have had. Well, I think I'm right. I think we would have had a very good championship race last year had that brake failure not happened. So, oh well, it is what it is. Shit happens, but it's just stuff like that happens all the time that makes it easy to overlook him and say, he just sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, not only is he coming on strong, but Fords have. I said it at Kansas when I was there that I heard they had a new engine package that supposedly got him a couple more horsepower.
I heard more of that this week.
Did you? Yeah. Since then, though, they've been there and they're performing, and it's not like it was at the beginning of the season where Ford wasn't being talked about. They're up there every week now.
They're getting there. So, they're definitely improving, which is good. I just never would have thought it would have been an engine thing. Like I just that body, man. I just thought that body, the way it was shaped, we all did. The way like those fenders are sculpted, like this thing's gonna be a rocket.
Yep.
And it just didn't happen. They're just funny enough. They're struggling on power of all things, I guess. So whatever.
Yeah. I feel good like when I asked Briscoe in the media center about Ford, I think he knew. I think they knew they had it this weekend or that weekend, and that's when we saw Buescher lose by closest ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just I don't know. It's interesting to see. It's kind of good, I guess, in my eyes that now all the manufacturers are on the same.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Field.
I mean, I'm obviously a Toyota guy, but I mean, you do want the other manufacturers to find success because the last thing you want is manufacturers to struggle and struggle and struggle and say, "Up the hell with it, we're out." Like you don't want that. So it is good to have the competition and to have everybody finding success. So I am happy that Ford's picking up some speed and finding a little something.
Yep. So back to the race, we had obviously the first stage was really early, lap 45, I think it was. Mm-hmm. We saw pit stop strategy right off the bat. We saw guys take 2 tires. We saw some take 4. Your leader, Michael McDowell, well, not leader, second place, Michael McDowell, took 4. He never recovered. He was back there.
Well, so we had even more strategy before that because we had there was that Cody Ware caution on lap 5 or 6.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And you had
pit stops at lap 7.
Yeah, you had a bunch of guys come in like lap 7. A lot of your tail end guys, they came in like lap 7, and some took 4, some took 2. So then at the end of the stage, they cycled to the front. I think they all came in and at least took 2. I don't think they just stayed out. I could be wrong, but they all cycled to the front at the stage, and Michael McDowell and Seabell and all them guys that were running up front, they got cycled to 10th, 12th, something like that. Sort of back in the pack. And you're right, Michael just never recovered. I think that's where you're seeing, like, you compare McDowell to Bell because McDowell was a rocket when he was out front. He was super fast. So it's like his speed seemed to just purely come from clean air. And then once he took that away, he was screwed, whereas Bell's car was just lights out faster than everybody no matter what. So that was unfortunate for McDowell, but yeah, there was a lot of crazy strategy. I mean,
It was
it's
every
good
stop
and bad.
too.
Yeah, I mean, it's good and bad because like the tire didn't wear out for shit. So I think that
Yeah.
kind of created some strategy in a way. It'd definitely be nicer to get a harder, or not harder, tire.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Get out
we
of
don't
here
want
with
harder.
that.
No, we don't need anything harder than what we got. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like every week NASCAR's doing testing to try to get the tire. They got to hit eventually,
Tested
right?
today.
Yep. And they
I mean,
tested.
we'll see.
Yeah. We will see. And they tested at Sonoma, so we get another new tire this week, supposedly. And
I don't think we get a new tire this week.
I heard it was a new tire.
Is it? I don't know. Maybe they did come up with something new because they paved it, which has its own concerns. But
yeah, apparently it's fixed, but we'll see.
I'm just how pave races go all the time. They suck for the most part.
Speaking of repaves, Road America.
Yeah.
So nice. Oh, dude. We need to go back. All the updates, man. Like, for those that don't know, I was there again this weekend, and it's fucking gorgeous. And the updates, like, I went to
there.
Dude, if I could afford it, I'd have one. But no, I talked about there's a area inside the carousel that they opened up. It used to just be overgrown grass and shit. I went there this weekend, and oh my God, I want to go to the Cup race, and I want to be there because you are 10 feet from the fucking track on the inside of the carousel, and it's just phenomenal. But back to the race. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, we had all the pit stop strategy. I mean, even the last green flag stops, you saw 2 and 4 tires, and it's softer tire would help, but I guess it made things interesting. But I think the top 3 guys were there with about 20 to go, and then you saw Bell fall off, and then obviously Blaney fall off, which I don't know what happened with that. So I heard the SMT data was out for a little while during the race,
which is awesome. I hate SMT.
I do too. I think that might have been what did it because they couldn't track his fuel usage. So on the last pit stop, they take one full can thinking they have plenty of fuel, and they didn't. So I don't know. That's
you can't check because I don't know how they track that like during the race. I don't know if they're looking at like throttle traces or just purely lap time or what, but they are able to monitor how much he's burning. So I mean, yeah, you're right. SMT was down for a period. I don't know how long or if it was then or what, but it's quite the miscalculation,
dude. Oh man, one lap too. One freaking lap.
Nobody else was worried about being short.
So
and all of a sudden he just runs out.
I was listening to the race on PRN, and I knew Blaney pit early. And I even said to the girlfriend at some point, I'm like, man, they're not talking about fuel. I'm like, some of these guys would be right on the edge. And then sure as shit, that final lap, they're like, Blaney's slow. And I'm like, he's out of fuel. They're like, he's out of fuel. I'm like, called it. But I couldn't believe, and I've heard the Fox wasn't talking about fuel strategy or anything like that. And it was just like,
not that I remember.
I found that odd. But man, tough break for Blaney. He's going to make the playoffs. He'll win a race or he'll sneak in on points. They'll be fine. That's just a costly penalty, though.
So you know what's really interesting? I was thinking about this. I don't know if you remember me talking about Blaney winning the Coke 600, then going on to win the championship, and then Joey won Darlington and went on to win his championship. So what's interesting is so Joey won Darlington, which is the race before the 600, and that was his first win when he went on his championship run. Then Blaney wins the Coke 600, which is the race before this one, and then went on to win his championship. And now Austin Cindric wins his first race at Gateway.
Yeah.
It's just like a weird pattern. It seems like they all like went one race further into their season before getting their first win, and then went on to the championship. So we'll see what happens with Cindric. Maybe he can keep the pattern going.
If Cindric wins a championship, I'm done.
We riot.
I'm done.
Riot.
Yeah.
If Penske wins another championship just from, I mean, let's be honest, pretty mediocre. I mean, Blaney wasn't setting the world on fire during the regular season last year. This is going to be frustrating. I think he was like 17th in points before this, wasn't he?
I thought he was farther down. I thought I heard 20, like first or third.
He might have been. I hate that. I don't like winning you're in. If you get rid of winning in, I think I can buy into this championship format a little more. But like just winning in is just so dumb to me.
Give more points for a win or something like that.
If you want to do that, yeah, sure. Like, but winning and being in the championship is just so silly.
Yeah, because he jumps up to 8th in points.
Yeah,
and
that's
locked
so
into the
dumb.
playoffs. And
that's so dumb.
I mean, I think he's got an average finishing position of like 24 points something. Like that's ridiculous, or at least before this week.
But now that guy's got a shot to go for a championship. Like it's just, I hate that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not a fan. It adds excitement. I hate to say it, but
I don't like it.
Okay. Well, we got to get into this, Zach.
Uh-oh.
Your boy, Kyle Busch.
Kyle versus Kyle.
Get into it. Last lap, stage 2. And what happened? In your eyes, what happened here?
I think this is an extension of North Wilkesboro. I think Kyle Busch is getting frustrated at getting what he feels getting run over all the time and getting taken advantage of. I can't say whether it does or doesn't happen. I'm not driving his car. But he feels that he's getting taken advantage of constantly. And I think it's just bubbling and he's just fucking tired of it. So I think, Larson was probably just trying to side draft him or whatever and miscalculated and bumped into Kyle, and Kyle Busch took exception to that and chased him down the track. And I don't think he wanted to wreck Larson. I think he just wanted to fuck up his corner. But these cars, like we've seen it before, if you hug a guy tight in the corner, sometimes they just loop around. So I don't think he meant to spin Larson out. I just think he meant to take his line away or push him down in the corner and just sort of show him I'm mad. And it just went wrong. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree with the frustration part for Kyle Busch. And I think he was frustrated before North Wilkes. I mean, that's why you saw him take out.
It's been building, I think, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, you saw it last year. He hops in and gets some wins. Yeah. He gets some wins, and then this year it's pretty pedestrian for Kyle Busch. He's got 2 top 10s.
It hasn't been going great this season. They've had speed. It's just shit happens. It's just stuff happening. Like they're not executing you, whether it's Kyle, whether it's the pit stops, whether it's the adjustments going the wrong way. Like the team as a whole just isn't executing properly.
Yeah. I don't know. You ready to move on to Xfinity?
Think of anything I was a little disappointed in Raja. I'm going to say it. He was in the booth, and he disappointed me just a little bit.
I missed it.
He was a homer for Hendrick, and I didn't appreciate it.
I mean, come on, man.
He's wearing his Hendrick hat, but it was just frustrating. It was very reminiscent of Jeff Gordon being in the booth. That's why it frustrated me, because it was like the exact same thing. Because they asked him, like, so, Raj, who you got your eye on today? And, and they're pointing out, like, oh, this guy's looking real good. And these are all non-Hendrick drivers are pointing out. Like, and he's like, yeah, but I'm really keeping my eye on that 9 car. It's just like nowhere. Like, come on. I get it.
Chase got damaged pretty early, but he
was still pretty quick.
This kid we love Raja for anybody watching. We've raced him in iRacing and all that, but he's getting kind of carried with Hendrick now, right? He's one of their drivers. He's going to go up the ranks because of Hendrick Motorsports. So I get it, but
it was just very Jeff Gordon when Jeff Gordon was in the booth, and just like out of nowhere, hey, look at Chase Elliott.
See, and the hard part,
the 9 car.
The hard part for me is I was a huge Gordon fan, right? started watching NASCAR before I even knew what the hell it was. I was turned on the TV and I was like, oh, rainbow car, that's cool,
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously Hendrick wasn't dominant back then either. It was 93. So I don't want to be a Hendrick homer, and I'm not by any means. I'm a Tyler Reddick fan. But I don't want to see Raja go to Hendrick. It's like,
It's
hey
hard
man,
to
there's
like
an
him.
FRM ride opening up. Like, hey,
Dude, it was like he got that HendrickCars.com. I'm like, I'm sorry, Raja, I can't like you anymore. I just can't.
yeah.
I can't root for the evil empire. It's so difficult.
At first, I
Like
was
I
like,
like
fuck yeah,
Byron,
that's
but
awesome. And then I was like, oh,
I mean, good for him in his career. Like I mean, if you're gonna go anywhere, Hendrick's definitely the place you want to go.
yeah.
It's just I can't cheer for Hendrick. I just can't.
Yeah. It sounded like the Fox broadcast was god awful again. Big
Oh,
surprise.
my God, they missed the pyro again. I think they missed it 3 straight years.
Yeah, they haven't had it.
They
at
caught
all.
it on camera, but they didn't show it. Like
The
they didn't show
first
it
year,
live.
First year they accidentally caught it on camera, and the second year they didn't show it. And I don't know what they did this year because, like I said, I was listening on
They
the radio.
recorded it, but they weren't showing it. And then they showed a replay of it. Like, oh, okay. And then the worst, the really, really frustrating thing they did, among everything else, was we're watching Blaney and Bell go at it, coming out of 4. Bell's looking inside. They're drag racing down the front. And they show us 2 Bell and Blaney fans that are sitting next to each other in the stands, like full screen. Like, what are you doing? You have a race for the lead. Like, it's intentional at this point.
Is that the one where they had the side by side with the same fan, just one on the right and one to the left?
Yeah.
Zoom out. Just zoom out and get them all.
It's just, what the fuck, dude? Like, it has to be intentional. I think they're just mad at NASCAR, so they just are now intentionally screwing up. Like, I can't think of any other reason. That doesn't make sense. But it's just like, I don't understand how they can be so bad all the time.
I've said before, I think they've been doing this intentional to lower the price for NASCAR on the network.
That's what I thought. But the TV deal's done. So it's like, why are you still doing it?
Well, it's kind of what Brian Hicks said last week on the podcast was they're mad they lost the Coke 600 and they're acting like a little baby about it. So I 100% get that. I'm seeing it.
It's the only thing that makes sense, because otherwise it's just like either you're doing this intentionally or you were just really awful. Like they're easily the worst.
It's both.
They're easily the worst broadcaster in all professional sports, hands down.
Yeah.
Like Flow Racing is better coverage than NASCAR and Fox does. It's so bad all the time. I saw the ticker. They had like the wrong people listed on it. Like they had Shane Van Gissenberger in it. They had Al Geyer in it for the 5, and
they had one other one. It was like, was it Gralla or something instead of Cody Ware? Or, I don't know, something like that.
I can't remember, but I did see like they had Brad Keselowski. They're interviewing him, and he finished in third and like they had 3, but instead of third, it was the ND as in second.
And before we move on, you had Haley and Carson with the top 10.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Do you think Corey LaJoie's got anything to worry about?
Yes.
Do you?
Like 100%. Like at first I was like, and honestly, leading up until this weekend, I was like, Corey's fine. He's got the podcast. He's got the money from that, I'm sure, and stuff like that. He's got a ride.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference with how Carson's running and LaJoie's running.
Carson's doing very good. Like he's not being like, I mean, the one thing everybody used to critique Carson for was like just goofy shit and just like wrecking people and like doing all kinds of
he's clean
nonsense. Yeah, he's perfectly fine and he's fast. So I mean, I don't know. He's running good every week. Yep.
No, I'm a very outspoken, not a Carson fan, and he's growing on me. He's seemed like if he came into the Cup Series and wrecked somebody, then 100% out for the rest of my life. But he's cleaned it up in the Truck Series. He's cleaned it up, in the Cup. He's running well. He's proven that he's got talent. So
he's doing very good. So good for him.
Even Haley in a Rick Ware RFK car. Good for him.
I saw something funny. I saw something funny on Twitter. I wish I remembered the name that said it. But it's like something like, Rick Ware has been making huge gains over the last couple of years, and Justin Haley's been running really well in that car. And then he puts his idiot son back in the 50 or whatever car he wasn't running the 51 what car, whatever. He puts his idiot son back in the car and
15
ruins all the progress that they've made.
Yeah, it's take him back out. I mean, Kraus and Gralla were better.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Cody Ware, why? Go back to Trans Am. At least you were kind of. No,
you ever see him he's shitting everything he drives. I watched him drive LMP3, and he's just diving in on people and wrecking, and he's just.
Yeah, we watched him. What was it, 24-hour to Daytona or something like that? It was just you watch him get in the car, and it was so bad. But more money than brains, and he's.
I guess just take him out. Haley's proving if you put somebody decent in those cars, they can do pretty well. So
I still feel like it's just an RFK car that Haley's in, and the other car is probably just a Rick Ware. But either way, it's
money for Rick Ware. You could benefit. There's things you could learn in that faster car and put into your slower car.
Oh yeah,
you might not have the speed because you might not have I guess if you're talking really the only difference being like motors and stuff. You might not have that motor, but you could have speed and still get good results for that car. Like whatever a good result for that may be, maybe top 25 or something. I don't know what their goal for their second lower tier car would be.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I think RFK, if they get a charter, he's gonna go there, and it's gonna kind of screw somebody out of a ride.
Could be Brad's retirement plan.
See that
Brad can't have too many years left. I don't know how much he's I say that now he's finding success and he won a race. So who knows, that could probably keep you going for a couple extra years. But I mean, maybe Haley's a backup or like not a backup, but like the succession plan. But then that's if Brad's going to stay racing for another 3 years, then that's a little long to keep him in an RFK car and Rick Ware car. So I don't know. Yeah, we do have charters coming up with SHR selling. So who knows what's going to happen.
Yep. Yeah, well, one of them's spoken for. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's hit the truck race quick since it was also at Gateway. Corey Heim time. He's dominating this season.
Very good.
I'd say last 6 races, if he wasn't the favorite to win the race, I don't know what the fuck you're watching. I mean, Dover, he should have won, except for he got taken out, and it's just, I don't know. He's fast. He's proven he deserves a ride in, I don't know, the Cup Series. I think he could be in one of these open charters also.
The only 3 truck winners I can think of for this year are Kyle Busch. Oh, Sanchez. Okay, so 4. So Kyle Busch, Sanchez, Raja, and Heim.
Yep.
Is there anybody else?
I think that's it. Sanchez has 2, I believe. So, yeah. It's crazy how good Heim has been the last couple of weeks. It almost reminds me of when Majeski was running really well, and then they found out he was cheating. So
maybe we'll find out a little something.
yeah, he's using them tire bleeders.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, let's head west to Portland. Xfinity Series. They're turning left and right.
Yep.
Big surprise, SVG wins it.
Good for him. Bad for I don't like that colleague one. That annoys me. I'm starting to actively root against colleague. But I mean, that's a Trackhouse car. Like that's Trackhouse funded, right?
Yes, yeah, that's a Trackhouse. So
it's a colleague car, but
I don't know if I mentioned this to you, and I don't listen to Door Bumper Clear, but I was on the other side of the shop, and the podcast I was listening to ended, and it took me into Door Bumper Clear, and I couldn't go back and switch to something else. Mm-hmm. And they had was it Chris Rice on it last week? Somebody, I don't know. What a fucking NASCAR homer. Like, dude, everything this dude was saying was just like kissing ass to NASCAR and everything.
Every time he talks,
awful.
I think he's dumber. Every time he opens his mouth, I just think he's a dumber person. Like he just says He just says like the worst kind of stuff that you like. I mean, I remember he was commentating on one of the Cars Tour races, and they're like having a decent green flag run, and they're racing and stuff's going on. He's like, oh, they're starting to run for a long time, getting spread out. You hate to see that. Like he just and he said the thing about the horsepower. Now, well, if we have high horsepower, you're going to see the cars get spread out, and I don't think anybody wants that. Like, it's just every time he talks, he just says something that goes so against what I believe. It pisses me off. So because of that, he's an idiot. If you say things that go against what I believe, you're dumb. Apparently,
but
that's my logic, I guess.
He did kind of open up one thing that we've talked about a couple of times, and that is SVG and where he's going to be going. It's a 1-year deal. He's going to the Cup next year.
Oh, for sure. He didn't come over here to run Xfinity.
No. So if Trackhouse doesn't get it, bye-bye Suarez. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, well, what about Zane Smith? Because isn't Zane Smith another Trackhouse guy?
It's a Spire Trackhouse thing.
Yeah, but I mean, the intent is for him to go. I mean, I think Suarez got to be worried no matter what. Because, I mean, he's...
100%.
Like I said last week, it seems like every week when somebody of note is going a lap down, it's always him first. Like whenever it's like you're not a Rick Ware car or a car that you expect to be going like that. It's like somebody that makes you pay attention. Oh, he's getting lapped. It seems like it's Suarez. And I mean, I'll defend him a little bit here while I'm also crucifying him. It seems like Trackhouse has lost a step this year, in general. I mean, I don't see Ross up there really. He'll be running top 10 sometimes, sticking his nose in there, but he doesn't last. Like, I mean, where was that? Kansas when him and Bell were battling and like they both got really tight or something off 4 and they both faded into traffic because they lost a bunch of momentum. That was that like 5 wide pass that happened where Busher split the middle. And they both fell back and Ross just never really recovered from that. I mean, to be fair, I don't think Bell really did that great at coming back either. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Trackhouse has that speed that you kind of expect them to have. So
They seem to pick and choose. I mean, we've talked about it where it's like, oh, Ross fell off middle of the season. It's just like, did he fall off, or is this just Trackhouse picking and choosing what races they want to be fast at?
Because he doesn't have a win yet, does he? Ross.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. We'll see.
13th in points.
He's safe for now, but
yeah,
I mean, there's a possibility he doesn't make the playoffs. I mean, if you don't get a win, and you get a couple new winners, but then again, that seems like it's really hard to do because it just seems like Hendrick and Gibbs win everything. I mean, Gibbs would have won this weekend had Bell not blown up. So I mean, maybe he is safe. Maybe we won't get a bunch of new winners.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like. Even the races that the Fords have won where RFK or whoever, it should have been a Hendrick or Gibbs. It's always something happens to them and then they fall off and a Ford wins it. So that's kind of where I feel like.
I think Brad's win, that one was definitely not a JGR Hendrick win. That one felt like it was because it was mainly between Busher and Reddick there at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Reddick had the really bad pit stop.
I don't remember like a Gibbs. Well, I'm splitting hairs calling 2311 not Gibbs, but I don't really recall anybody else like really like a Gibbs or a Hendrick dominating that one very well. But I have a short memory, so who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. Let's hit up the news here. We got quite a bit actually. We get some news on the Austin Hill.
Oh wait!
Intent.
Did you see SVG's sick burnout after he won?
Oh, yeah. The drift the whole track thing.
Dude, it was so badass.
So here's what I'm gonna find funny is if you go back last year when Ty Gibbs was it last year, 2 years ago, maybe when Ty Gibbs ran this race and tried to do the same exact thing, he did a burnout, spun out just like SVG did. And I roasted him. I was like, that's fucking dangerous and dumb, stupid, blah, blah, blah.
I remember that.
SVG's doing, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is awesome.
Exactly. You want to see the mindset of NASCAR fans. Right there it is.
Yeah. I mean,
it's all who does it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll agree. Like, as awesome as it was, You can't be losing in front of people, man. They take the belts off and shit. But
We're fine. We'll be all right.
yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Well, and we got a new signature win thing. We got
What's
the
that?
rugby ball. He signs
I
a
heard
rugby
about
ball
that.
and throws it in the stands.
Oh, that's cool. I like it.
He
very
threw it
unique.
or kicked it, one of the two, and some kid
So
got it. And
somebody's got to bring a rugby ball to every race now, I guess.
yeah, so you got the watermelon, you got the rugby ball, all that fun shit. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Cool.
It's different,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, that's creative. That's it's obviously his, I don't know, culture, whatever.
Yeah,
something unique to him. So that's cool.
Yeah. I think it says like New Zealand on it.
Unique to him as a guy over here from over there.
Yeah. All right, Austin Hill, intent wrecked Cole Custer. What was it, last week or 2 weeks? I don't even remember. Last week.
Wherever.
Yeah, and he got fined 25 points, playoff points, I think, and $25,000. So
good for him.
Yeah. Clint Boyer is going to run the 7 truck at Nashville. That's the next race. We
seems
looked
kind of
this
random.
Up. It is. I was like, oh, is Clint from there? I was like, no, he's Kansas or Missouri or something like that.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Maybe he just really wants to drive something, I guess. I don't know. Just seems kind of random. But whatever.
It's the first truck race that's not on Fox.
I thought all the truck races are on Fox.
I'd have to look at the TV schedule. Okay,
Pretty
it's
sure
not when Fox is full time. That's okay. No, that's why they're doing it. That's why he's going to run the truck. It's because he's not in the Cup booth that weekend, so they're going to put him in the car as like an infield reporter.
I guess. Just seems kind of strange. I didn't peg Clint Boyer for coming out of retirement to run a truck race. So
yeah.
Good luck. We'll see how he does.
It'll pay for his beer for the weekend in Nashville.
There you go.
FRM says they got a third charter. I can't say the third charter. We don't know where it's from. They haven't said anything about where it's from, how much it costs, what the deal is with it.
SHR.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be one of the drivers that Ford wanted.
Who do you think's going?
Briscoe.
You think Briscoe?
With the Ford backing of FRM now, I think it's Briscoe because Briscoe is the Ford driver.
Makes sense.
So
makes sense.
That's just what I'm seeing, which Herb's to the 21.
I think
now.
My gut feeling is I think Briscoe, Barry, and Gregson are all safe, meaning they'll all find somewhere to go. I think Priest is out.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
he hasn't done anything.
I thought Priest was a decent driver, but man, yeah, he's just been nowhere. I mean, it might as well put him in the Rick Ware car.
And I mean,
might actually be an upgrade.
I'm not expecting him to go out there and win, given what SHR is lately. But I mean, you see, Briscoe has
top
won.
20s.
Yeah, I mean, Briscoe has won. We've seen Noah have really strong runs. We've seen Josh Berry have really strong runs. And Priest is just nowhere. So if anybody's out of that camp, I think it's him.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I'd like to get a little more information about it, but without the whole charter contracts, I wonder if it's just like, hey, if this goes through, we'll give you the money for it.
And I think Denny was sort of alluded, like, because he was talking about. I didn't catch the whole podcast. I just caught like a clip of it on Twitter, but it was like Jared was asking him, about 2311 buying a charter, and he's basically saying no, 2311 is not buying anything because there's no charter. There's no, in Denny's mind, and I'm sure his business partner's mind, is there is no charter to buy because charters do not exist past January 1st.
Yep.
So
and yeah, they asked him if how it was going. It sounds like it's getting closer. And he's like, no, we're in the same spot we were in December. It's like, oh,
that's why you got to take. And I mean, it keeps sounding like I thought this was supposed to be NASCAR's like, this is it deal. So if that's the case, and I haven't heard anybody say, I mean, even Brad is usually very discreet on things. He was sort of saying, yeah, there's still some more work to be done. So I take it they're not happy yet. So who knows where this is going to go?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It really is. And I think all the teams are kind of holding off right now just to I guess play it by ear.
I think they need to really dig their heels in the ground. Because what I think is, it sounds crazy, but my tinfoil hat is I could see a future where NASCAR tries to sort of phase out teams as they exist now, and instead of
Yeah.
being separate entities, they're one entity. So
Yeah, we've heard a lot of Hamlin saying that they can survive without teams, and
NASCAR would love to do that. Then it's
it,
their
it's
show.
almost like if you had a car that was all the same for everybody, and
Right.
you could just have drivers and they'd be on your payroll. Oh wait, that's kind of what they're going for.
Not that SRX succeeded, but look what they did. They failed for different reasons, I think. But I mean, a similar model, why wouldn't that work? NASCAR builds the cars. They have crew chiefs assigned to each car, and whoever drives them, drives them. And now you don't have to deal with teams. You can run the series however you want. You don't have to hear anybody complaining about cost savings or all that because it's all internal to you. And you're making all the money. You're making all the sponsorship money. So, I mean, yeah, I could see a pathway to it. It sounds crazy. You say that back in 2005, you're nuts. But
Yeah.
I mean, we're buying kit cars now.
Yep.
The teams, all the craftsmanship on the team end is gone. Like it's all just engineering work now.
I will say this: that will be the death of that. Nah, I can't talk. Death of NASCAR, because I think what you're going to see in that point, if that happens, is these big teams now are going to go. They're going to start their own series. They're going to add what the fans want. They're going to add more horsepower. They're going to do everything.
It'll
It
be
really
like a
is.
split, I guess, like IndyCar split.
Yeah,
I don't know.
100%.
I don't. And it's all just theory. It's not fully thought out. There's probably holes in it all over the place, I'm sure. But it's just like sort of a trajectory I see NASCAR possibly going, and knowing their mindset of it's our show. That's
Yeah.
historically always been. I mean, how many times have you heard the Bill France quotes of like, this is my sandbox, you come and play in it kind of thing. So like I think NASCAR has that mindset of they want to own everything. They want everything to be theirs and control everything. So I don't know if that means 100% ownership or maybe just majority. Maybe they just invest and get majority ownership of each team. They don't necessarily have to own the whole thing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think this negotiation is very important for that reason.
Yeah. Yep. All right. 14% viewership increase on FS1 this weekend for Gateway. It's a pretty good increase. 14%.
14%. I didn't see that number. I saw like 400,000 or 500,000.
Yeah, I saw 14 on J-Ski. So
well, maybe.
Yeah.
I think last year was like rain delayed though, wasn't it?
You got me.
I think I saw somewhere last year was rain delayed. I could be wrong. I could be making stuff up. Chase Elliott also didn't race, so there's that Chase Elliott effect.
Was this when he was suspended?
Yep.
I guess could have I don't know, 10%. I don't know. Larson got his waiver. Finally. It happened.
Now I can stop talking about it.
I don't think he deserved it, but I honestly was hoping they'd just dock him playoff points.
I think if NASCAR had a history of upholding the waiver or not giving one out, then they fully have an argument. But it's NASCAR's own fault. They've just given them. I think I saw somewhere that you've given out like 35, like 30 to 35 waiver requests or something like that. They've given waivers out. So it's like when you give them out left and right, like you can't deny this guy. And thinking about like the bigger implications, like I do not want a deterrent for a team to not do the double, because I love the double. I think what NASCAR can do, and it's a very simple one line in the rule book. Just say, because I mean the argument of you're setting a precedent, I can just skip whenever I want, just have a rule that says, a little asterisk under the waiver rule that says, as long as if you're trying to attempt the double, the Indy 500 and Coke 600 double, as long as an honest attempt to make the race is made, you're fine. You'll get a waiver, which I think you can say Hendrick did. They had an honest attempt to make the race, and whatever happens besides that is irrelevant. And then we never have to talk about it again. Because my other complaint or my other issue is I don't like the idea of just doing this for Larson. I want this to be a thing that would happen for Kyle Busch, that would happen for Justin Haley, that would happen for anybody who has the potential to do a waiver or do a double.
Yeah. But so here's my problem with that whole thing is I think part of the allure of doing the double is you have to rush from Indy to Charlotte. And I think that they won't rush, but we can get in at halftime,
No, because I don't think you'll get the
stage
points.
3.
You'll still miss out on points, which you don't want to do. And I mean, maybe they could also add in if you don't start the race, then you don't get the points for it. Because I don't know how that works either. I don't know how, because Justin Allgaier was going to get credited for whatever finish Kyle Larson got. So like if he wins that race, Justin Allgaier gets credited for the race win.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the points work in that situation anyway, because the points go, you have to start the race.
Yeah. Would he have
So I
gotten
think-
stage points if he drove the car the whole stage? I don't know.
I think you have to, from what I understand, I very well could be wrong because we don't get to see the rule book. But I think in order to get scored points, you must start the race. So after that, if you're starting late, you're just there for the fans and sponsors and stuff like that to be there at the event and participate. But I don't think you get any points payout from it.
Gotcha. I mean,
and if you do, then don't. If you do, then don't give them points payout. Or maybe do. Maybe give them points payouts. Maybe that is the motivator. You know, oh, we want to, because if you have no points on the line, then maybe you do meander around. And like, we already missed the start, so what's the point? Whereas, oh shit, I can get there halfway through stage 1, and we can still, because there's 4 stages in the 600, so there's more points on the table. So, if I get there halfway through stage 1, we can get in the car by the end of it, and, I still get 3 stages I can get points in. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the motivator would be. I don't think anybody's going to saunter about and just be like, let's go get a beer. I don't feel like going to Charlotte right now. Because they all have sponsor obligations and stuff like that. They have to uphold and don't want to let people down. So I think an honest attempt would still be made.
We had an Indy test today. I had who it was. Hamlin, McDowell, Kyle Busch all ran Indy testing. Kyle Busch wrecked.
Yep.
I
saw something funny though that said Denny Hamlin wrecked at a Charlotte test. I think it was the year they were testing the next gen. He wrecked at the Charlotte test and then won the Coke 600. So maybe Kyle Busch is going to win. Maybe Kyle Busch is going to win the pick yard. I do want to set it up. That race is going to suck. We need to understand that.
You think so?
It's going to be bad because where does this car suck at? Single lane tracks. What is Indy?
Single lane track.
So, and we don't
I'm
have
just hoping. So this is going to be the one track where I think that shifting might make it better. And it's going to sound weird. I think you're going to see people overdrive the turns thinking that they can just downshift and go, which you can. But the problem is it's a momentum track. So if you lose that momentum, you could be screwed and you're going to lose a couple spots possibly. So I don't know.
I'm going
my
into
expectations are low.
I'm going into it with it's going to be ass. I'm just assuming it's going to suck. I'd rather be here than the road course. I don't
100%.
care. As bad as the race as it may be on the oval, I'd much rather be on the oval than the road course.
Yeah.
And if we decide that the oval doesn't work for us, then we just need to go somewhere else. I don't want to race on the road course at Indy. Either the oval or nothing.
Agreed.
So I'm just trying to go in with super low expectations, and then hopefully I'll be surprised.
Yep. Let's see. We're gonna hit Sonoma here real quick. We did have a tire test with Truex, Ross Chastain, and Barry. They tried different tires. I don't know what that means for this race. Ross might be sneaky this week.
You think?
As far as I think. I mean, he obviously won at COTA. I say run at COTA. I don't know.
Who was the other one you said tested? Truex, Ross Chastain, who?
Barry.
Okay.
Barry's not a road course racer. Like
he's
no. So Truex is okay, but I don't think he's done that well lately in this car, at least at road course. But let's see. We got Boris in the 17 Xfinity car. That should be interesting. Top 10, if that. I don't see Boris winning. I mean, the guy's like 55 or something like that. You got SVG in the field. Yeah. But new asphalt, we'll see if it holds up. I don't know. I hope for a good race. right?
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not expecting one, but can always hope.
Yeah. What's after Sonoma? Oh, Iowa.
Yep. NBC. This is our last Fox broadcast. Thank God.
Yeah. I was so glad I didn't I didn't watch the race. Even the girlfriend on the drive's like, why isn't the broadcast this good? It's like, yeah.
It's so bad.
PRN all the way.
Mhm.
Kill count, Larson. That's it. He gets one for the whole Bush incident, which you could.
I wouldn't give him one.
No.
No, I mean it's
Okay.
just he just lost it. I don't. Bush
Exactly.
held him tight, and it made the car loose. He just wrecked it. It was.
I mean, they were bumping and banging, but okay.
It was an aggressive racing incident. We'll call it that.
Okay, we'll go with that. How about Survivor, Zach? I don't want to talk about it.
Survivor. I was pretty excited. I'm glad that Ryan Blaney's team can't calculate fuel because Joe was going to win, and then he didn't. I won.
I was looking pretty good for a while with Barry, and then I ended up dead fucking last.
Yeah. Did they ever even say what happened to him? Did he blow a tire? Was it a brake rotor? I didn't really get a clear.
On PRN, they asked him, and he said he thought he blew a brake rotor, but he looked, and it didn't look broke. So it sounds like something broke in the left front, but
yeah,
unknown.
No, that sucks. Yep. So you were last with Barry, who was 36th. And then Joe was third with Blaney, who ended up finishing 24th. And then Drake had Busher, who finished 14th. And then I had old Joey Logano, who gave me a P5. So I have officially taken the lead back of the pool. We'll do a leaderboard recount because we haven't checked in the leaderboard for a while. So I'm leading at 44. Joe's in second with 42. Andrew is third at 36, and then Drake is struggling with 28. So
damn, I'm 2 races behind again.
That's where we're at with 11 races to go in the regular season.
I've had a bad last couple of races. Well, no, I won last week apparently. Man, I'm hit or miss. I'm winner. Yeah. Winner last. Okay, let's go Michael McDowell this week.
McDowell. Not a bad McPick.
I thought about going Ross, but no. We'll go Michael.
I don't know how Ross is for road courses.
Joe's gonna take Tyler Reddick.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for Joe to talk.
Yeah.
Stupid. Yep, Joe's gonna take Tyler Reddick. And then Drake said he will take Suarez. I'm gonna take KB, old Kyle Busch.
Okay.
He ran pretty well. I think he finished second there last year, I think.
I'd have to look. I honestly do not remember anything about last year's race.
I think he did finish second. So I think KB. I don't know. It's kind of a throwaway, but like a throwaway with some optimism. So, because I don't know where else I'd pick him. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm just like, I don't know where else I'd pick Kyle Busch right now. So.
Okay, well, that's Survivor for Sonoma. I'm hoping the new track asphalt makes it a decent race. I'm low expectations again, but we'll see. And then, yeah, I mean, thank God, Fox's last Cup race.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we're going to get into the playoffs. People that need to be worried, who we think will be in or out, because we got 10 more races after next week. So,
yep, we are cruising through this season.
Lee Diffie joining the broadcast.
Oh, hell yeah. Dude, he's so good.
Yeah, you can't be any worse than Fox. That's all I keep telling myself, that you can't. 100%.
No.
So
it's going to be a phenomenal change going from Fox just dead dreariness to Lee Diffie and NBC. I can't wait.
Yep, 100%. But on that note, I think we're going to wrap things up. I have nothing else to talk about. Zach, you got anything?
No, I'm probably forgetting something, but.
Oh, 100%. I forget stuff every week, and I don't have anything else wrote down, so I'm ready. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and we'll We'll see you next week. See you.
Bye.
Love you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Green White Checkered podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. For more from the boys and the podcast, be sure to follow us on Twitter at the GWCpod for the podcast, at biggelstv for Zach, at shakendrake_TTV for Austin, at picksbyfitz for Andrew, and at J_Sully10 for Joe. Head over to thegwcpod.com to submit a question for our OnlyFans segment. Thanks again for listening, and we hope to catch you again next episode.
Football season may be over, but for frequency's sake still has you covered for all your sporting needs. Tune in every Sunday when the best professional wrestling podcast around, cards subject to change, gets you caught up on everything inside the ropes. They won't miss a count with weekly analysis and interviews. More into auto racing? We've got a double dose for you on the track. Tune in to Fast Money with Rod Villagomez each week and win some money with the quickest bets in all of sports. Want more insight from Pit Row? Check out the Green, White, and Checkered podcast where they give their insight on everything happening on and off the track. Need your basketball fix? Points in the Paint has you covered with live shows every other week looking at everything in the association. Backed by popular demand, we have the return of The Payoff Pitch, FFSQC's baseball show, covering you on news around the MLB. If you're missing football, don't fret. Mark and Dan still have you covered in the football lounge. Missing Joe Winkle? Probably not, but he's still here talking sports on Educated Ignorance. Football season might be over, but we've still got you covered. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.